everybody. Before we jump into today's episode, we have two sponsors we want to say thank you to for supporting this show. The first one is Routine. You guys have heard me talk about Routine, honestly, back from the early days of the podcast, and it's still a product I use every single morning. They have a prompt for me here. I'm going to do a little impromptu on this ad read today because honestly, this is a product that I truly believe in. And so I'm just going to tell you guys exactly what I think and why. First and foremost, this is a stat that they shared, but when you sleep, you lose between a pound and a pound and a half of water. And most of that's just sweating while you sleep. I used to not know if that was actually true, to be honest. I felt like a pound to a pound and a half of water seemed like quite a bit while I slept. But the one thing I did constantly pay attention to when I started using Routine was just the fact that before using Routine, I always felt a little dehydrated in the morning. And I'm one of those people that when I get up really early usually. I work out. One of the first things I do is some form of fitness. It's just like what I do before everyone's awake. And so it's very easy for me to grab a coffee, pre-workout, an energy drink, something with caffeine in it, and just go. When I am good about using Routine, first, I basically they come in these little single serve packets. They contain half an organic lemon, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, Himalayan sea salt, all 6 essential electrolytes, and they have no sugar in them at all. A lot of hydration products are going to have sugar. So one of the things about Routine that I love is that there's no sugar in there. So when I am good about doing this consistently, I will take one of those single serve packets, I'll throw it in my mixer bottle, and whether I also put in a pre-workout or something with caffeine or I just drink that separately, I try to drink that first. And the days I do that, I do genuinely feel hydrated and just have a different form of clarity all morning. A lot of people have tried to make their own homemade versions of Routine, right? You see people they take a shot of the apple cider vinegar, they put a little sea salt, a little lemon in a drink. This is essentially that, but in a product that you can take with you on the go, have it ready for you first thing in the morning. I know me personally, when I'm groggy rolling out of bed, the last thing I want to do is, squeeze a lemon, cut lemons up, go get the apple cider vinegar, find my sea salt. I just rip this packet open, throw it in my water, drink it, and it's good to go. You can try yours today. If you haven't tried it yet and you've been listening to this podcast for years, just try the damn Routine. Give it a shot. You can use code ShaneWhite30 and get 30% off your first order. So you get 30% off by using code ShaneWhite30 and go to yourroutine.com. To make it even easier, I've added the link to yourroutine.com in the show notes. So just click on the show notes for this episode, click on the link to yourroutine.com, and don't forget to use code ShaneWhite30. All right, guys, today's episode is also brought to you by NeuroRoast. Again, I'm going to go a little off script here. NeuroRoast is a product that I also came across during this year of 2023. They are a coffee company that's helping you optimize your brain function and overall well-being. This is another product that, to be honest with you, when I first started working with it, I was a little on the fence. I was like, do I really want to have mushrooms in my coffee? Well, folks, I will tell you, when I use NeuroRoast, one of the things that has stood out to me the most is I'll back up. People that know me know that I have way too much caffeine, typically. One of the things this year I've done a good job of is cutting out alcohol. Not completely, but predominantly, I don't touch a lot of alcohol anymore. What I think I've actually done the other way, though, is add a lot more caffeine. So I do definitely drink too much caffeine. That's something I need to work on next year, is to try to minimize how much of that. But NeuroRoast is something that has actually helped me. Because of the way they've formulated their coffee, like unlike regular coffee, which is, still something I consume, but NeuroRoast specifically doesn't cause jitters or crashes. Mushroom coffee provides more balance and sustained energy, allowing you to stay focused and productive throughout the day. So the times I do use NeuroRoast, I'll be honest, I just don't feel that jittery, like, I'm jumping out of my chair or standing here at my desk, jumping around feeling. So give NeuroRoast a try. They have some really good flavors. I'll be honest too, the two guys that started NeuroRoast are just really good dudes based out of New York, and they're hustling, and hopefully they can get some people to try NeuroRoast this holiday season by listening to this podcast. So for you folks who've been on the fence, I'm telling you, it tastes delicious. They've done a fantastic job of making this coffee not only be functional, but taste fantastic. And if you want to try NeuroRoast, you can use code ShaneWhite. So it's super simple, just ShaneWhite at checkout. you'll also get 30% off. So if you go to neuroroast.com, and once again, I have added that to the show notes. So just click into the show notes while you're listening to this episode. You can click on NeuroRoast link directly. Don't forget to use code just Shane White, and you'll get 30% off your order. Hope you guys love both these products. I'm trying to not only bring you guys products that I use, but that I believe in on the podcast. I'm not taking ad reads for any brands that I don't really believe in. So anyway, hope you guys love both those products, yourroutine.com and neuroroast.com. I've added those links to the show notes. I hope you guys love it. And I got an awesome guest coming up right after this. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode here with Kyle. We're going to dive into, this one's going to be probably more for people who actually, either have a product you sell on Amazon already. This is not for someone who necessarily is looking to work with Amazon or get on Amazon. So this is more of people who are, maybe it's more of a, if you're someone who either works within Amazon, it's going to be interesting to hear what Kyle and I talk about. But also, if you just don't know how much goes into running an Amazon business, I think this episode will be fun for you, because really the concept and the topic today is like, basically, what do Kyle and I pay attention to on a daily basis with the brands we work with on Amazon, and what do we think is important? So, Kyle, I'll kick it over to you. I'll let you, because you tangibly, we talked about this. I have a lot of things I'll hit on from a marketing and finance lens that I look at daily. You have, I would argue, more of like, hey, these are like mission critical daily things that, so I think you'll have more to share on this call that most people will probably be shocked at how many things go into running a successful Amazon business.
Yeah, it's probably good advice for even if you run your own Amazon business. The first thing that I would say, which is related to Amazon, but more broadly, I learned in my first job, it was called knowing your business cold. So one of the first things that I check is sales, and it's sales at a brand level, sales at a unit level.
Wait,
So
can
if
you
someone
back
walks
up?
up,
Yeah, what's knowing your business cold? I don't think you've ever told me this.
so like the idea if your manager or your boss walked up to you, and this happened all the time in our office, if someone walks up to you and says, "Hey, what's going good with your business? What's going bad?" You know 3 bullet points for each instantly, depending on the day, the week, the month. So I've always been in the habit of just checking sales. Hey, how is today going? Unit level, what's the best seller? What's popping off? So I think that's number one. Couple other things that I check religiously every single day. I would say ASIN status is number one check. This is across inventory levels. This is across performance notifications. This is across account health. Um, in our position, because you aren't the lead admin email on the account, if something gets turned off, you're potentially not getting emailed. And the way that Amazon communicates deactivations of ASINs, or hey, this ASIN's been flagged, or whatever it might be, there's a laundry list of things that Amazon can do. There's a few spots you got to check. So I'm checking those spots every single day. Because if you don't see it, you could, go potentially a day or two longer than you probably should have with the ASIN being down. The other thing that I'm checking more so every other day, subscription count, I keep a very, very close eye on. The reason why is if you do see a spike in subscription, you want to quickly correlate that back with why. Sometimes
Sure.
it's obvious in terms of like a promo you're running. Other times it's less obvious. Influence from TikTok. Did you go viral and you didn't know about it? Do you have coupons overlapping that were set up by mistake? So checking subscriptions a little bit. But what are some of the things that you're going after? I know advertising for sure, some stuff on the finance side.
Yeah, it's funny. And you and I've talked about this on here before. Advertising now for me has such a different perspective than even what it had when we were at our X Bar. Like in regards to like the importance of it. I'm checking ads every single day. The biggest thing that usually happens on ads is a credit card gets declined. So that's one that
Yeah.
Amazon should do a better job. Like Instacart does a really good job. I'm sure you've seen those from me where, if your credit card gets declined on Instacart, you get an email immediately that says your account was deactivated. Amazon does go to the lead admin account too, but they, again, those get ignored sometimes. So the way I check it, yeah, same thing. It's like checking to make sure ads are running. You'd be shocked at how quickly that can impact the business if things are just all paused, obviously, especially if you're an account that's spending a lot of money every day. That's a big one. And then also budgets for advertising, just because there's a lot of brands that have pretty tight budgets. I'm looking at that every day just to make sure the big things are to make sure we're not spending like a big spend spike or a spend decline. Honestly, both are really important to catch quickly. Can mean a lot of different things. So just trends, like I'm doing a lot of trend hunting and trend reviewing. Those are the big ones on the advertising side. I would say on the finance side, I do a good gut check of kind of similar to you, looking at sales, but then understanding like what's coming through. I also do a gut check at the transaction level. I would call that probably not every single day, but most days I'm going through and glancing. The big things there, kind of what you said, it's kind of a gut check to see has there been any transactions that came through that just look funky? Is more so than anything. At this
Yeah.
point, I have such a good idea of like what FBA fee and referral fees should be at the unit level that if something gets stacked or there's some weird combo fee or some big weird inventory getting moved or removed, those are things that I like to catch quickly. Those are the two. Yeah, I would say on the advertising and finance side, and then just like you, macro things for sure. It's always good to check sales every day. I'm trying to think other great things for people who are learning today. Probably.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Even if you're thinking this, I know I'm interrupting you.
No, you're good.
As we're listing these off, this idea of setting it and forgetting it is
So funny.
such fantasy. Even if it's something as like, hey, just send inventory in, let it sell through, check it every couple weeks, make sure you don't go out of stock. Like that, that's not how Amazon operates. Um, so it speaks to, I mean, just how difficult it is to run an account. I've used the term before with clients, but it's probably not the best term. It's like quote unquote babysitting. Like you just got to be really good at
Yeah,
babysitting,
yeah, for sure.
right?
Yeah,
And it's
100%.
not babysitting in the sense that it's easy to do. It's babysitting that your child could metaphorically fall off a cliff at any moment, right?
Right,
So
right,
you got to keep an
right.
eye on it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was gonna say the only other thing I spent a lot of time, as like strategically looking at growth levers for advertising. So you probably spend more time. Your list is probably a little longer with InSeller Central. I probably spend more time. Not that you don't, but I spend a lot of time on the like consumer facing side of Amazon too, just seeing like
yep,
our competitors and what they're doing.
for sure.
That's something I would recommend. Just like that, I would call that similar to probably what you called knowing your business cold. It's just like knowing what your competitors are doing. Are they running deals? Is someone
Hmm.
doing something different, unique, or are brands trending from an organic perspective? I'm always looking at the sales of our competitors too, with just like our Jungle Scout plugin. It's just good to kind of check that, and that's probably not daily. That's probably weekly. That's a good one for anyone that's working with Amazon. I would say like, people usually hear Helium 10 is probably the most popular one. Jungle Scout's another one. Both of those are great just to have plugged in so you can be on the Amazon consumer facing side, just amazon.com, and you can quickly see how brands are performing. That's a
Hmm.
great tool. Just anyone that is selling on Amazon should probably be using.
Yeah, and another one I mentioned that's not daily. I know you and I are looking at a lot, and we're looking at it from an agency perspective. We are not looking at it as consumers. Is the bestseller list?
Yeah. Oh yeah, good one.
It's because it's so interesting because the brand typically within any big food and beverage category, the top two or three you can probably guess in every category because they're billion-dollar global brands. Beyond that, though, what you would expect to see on a retail shelf doesn't necessarily match what's in the top 10 in that category on Amazon. So it's kind of a treasure trove of information in terms of, hey, within beverage, what subset of beverages trending up? Because there are mocktails, adaptogenic drinks in the beverage category that are listed in the top 50 that if you're a normal consumer and you don't spend all day looking at food and beverage brands like we do, I guarantee you've never heard of them because they're just
Yeah,
not in national they're
100%.
not in national retail.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
it's
that's
kind
a
of
good one.
it's a treasure trove of like what's up and coming
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a treasure trove of like what flavors are trending potentially, right?
Sure.
That's a good
Yeah.
one to look up.
It's funny to listen to you give your list too, because obviously you and I are work so closely together. Like I know you're looking at those things, and it's funny how like we both have like just completely different sides, but it all fits together. I would tell in most
Hmm.
people this is probably the power of having someone like Kyle as your co-founder. Like we both just we've always like we're like a yin and yang, and we always know the other person's covering the exact opposite things we're focused on. So I would say if you're just a solo brand owner and you sell, one set of products on Amazon, like you could go through this whole list in a day for sure. It's a lot though. It's like we're kind of giving you the high level macro overview, but
Yep.
it would
Yeah.
take someone a long time to go through both sides of this and have a good understanding. So
Yeah. Or if you can't, then
ultimately,
you hire us. That's
in the
why we're
hire
here.
us, that's exactly right. That's why we're here. That's why we're here, everybody. Awesome, man. Well, hopefully that was some insightful things. If you have any questions on specifics, we'd be happy to answer too, like where we go to look at this stuff. I think that's another piece that's probably worth a whole episode is just what are we looking at when we're in Seller Central? There's so much
Yeah.
shit in there.
Yep.
But anyway, cool, man. Hope everyone
Beautiful.
enjoyed that one, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.